Hey everybody, and welcome to Fascinating Words and Phrases with myself and Dexter. And this week we're back in the bloody grave by the sounds of it, to be honest with you. Dexter, when are you going to start doing happy ones?
Uh, well, this is quite happy actually, but
Oh, is
not
it?
necessarily for the person that it has been affected by it. The phrase I'm going to talk about is dead ringer. It
Okay.
and it has nothing to do with dead. Um, in fact, we use this kind of phrase quite a lot, and I'm going to split it into two. First of all, why a ringer, and then why a dead ringer. So we talk about dead center, we talk about a dead heat, or we talk about a dead shot. So that's got nothing to do with death. But the way that it's come about, so as I say, I'm going to do it in reverse order. A ringer, it's equine. It has an equine consistency to it. It's about horses,
Okay.
and it's about when I was going to say illegal trading, where people used to fool others by giving them a horse race, but instead of the actual better horse, they would put in a dead ringer. So it is like a horse that looks exactly the same. So all the bets go on what they think is the favorite or the better horse, but actually the owner or the villain is knowing where to place the bets. So it may come from some villainous way of doing it. So a dead ringer, we've talked previously. I remember, Gareth, you talked about knowing by the horse's teeth how
That's
old
right.
the horse is.
Yes.
And so this was one of the ways they could determine whether, in fact, the horse was a dead ringer or was what is being sold. And it's come into modern parlance to a certain extent by, these cars that they switch number plates, or they go to the chop shops. And so what was originally one car could be a car that's been involved in an accident. So that could be a car ringer, something like that.
Right.
So the thing about dead is really that it's about not lifelessness or anything like that, but as I explained before, dead eye, dead shot, dead
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And so it's come to mean something is a dead ringer. It is exactly like us. And in
Yeah.
fact, there's a quote which, and I apologize for the pronunciation here, but this was it was in a magazine called Oshkosh Weekly Times. Again, it's an American one in June 1888, and it's somebody that appears in a courtroom, very drunk, and he is obviously shown a photograph or whatever it was, an illustration of him doing this nefarious act. And and you'll hear by the accent that he wasn't a typical American. And so that are is a remarkable semblance, be sure, said Hart, looking critically at the picture. That's a dead ringer for me. I never done seen such a semblance. So that was his defense. Wasn't me. It was a bloke that looked like me.
Look like me. Yeah. Dear me.
So that's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
That's a dead ringer.
Well, at least we weren't talking about death again.
Yeah, indeed.
That's really good. So yeah, that's quite good. So basically, the dead bit is literally just speech,
Yes.
like you say, is
Yeah.
like
Dead
dead
shot.
shot and yeah, all
Dead
the rest
eye.
of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but the horse thing, we were always I when I started my business up, I worked part time in William Hill, and in the training they do, they basically they tell you to look out for ringer horses.
Yeah.
And you literally just have people coming in and they bet just under the check level because it's gone around that essentially somebody has run a horse slower than what it can go and stuff like that. And but they used to paint them and everything, didn't they?
Yeah.
They say Shergar was disguised and smuggled out or something,
Yeah.
and Red
Never,
Rum
never
and
to be found.
yeah,
Like
never
it
to be
was.
found.
I must tell you that it has nothing to do actually with dead ringers, but it has certainly to do with horse racing.
Yeah,
We just had the Grand National recently,
yeah,
and I thought, wait a minute, I normally look through the papers. I don't necessarily gamble, but this is a special race. And so I put the information, I asked ChatGPT, and this question was like this: based on the horse's form, based on the jockey, and based on the trainer,
Wow.
who is likely to be the first three horses past the post? And it got the first and the second.
Wow. Now you've just told everybody, everybody's now going to become gambling addicts. See, I don't like gambling, and working in the bookies, I saw some awful things, but
Yes.
I was probably one of the worst bookies out there because I once had a chap come in and say to me, um, "Or what do you recommend?" And I said, "Put your money back in your pocket and leave." And but the best one I ever did was, my nephew used this in his job when he was working in a burger place, when he was in uni. And this chap came in and he was putting a load of bets on and basically putting them through. And he went, "Come on, hurry up." And I said, what do you mean?" He said, "You're not very fast, are you?" I said, "Well, it's a good job I'm not a fireman then, isn't it?" I didn't care. Whatever, pal. Worst bookie in the world, mate. Whatever.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, so
Anyway, that's
yeah,
it. Thank
that's
you
it.
very much for watching. That's for this Wednesday. We'll see you next Wednesday, 9 o'clock. And if you got any fascinating words or phrases you'd like us to cover, then by all means, drop them in the comments. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, describe. That's a fascinating word.
Yeah.
Describe. So subscribe. So
Yeah,
anyway, and on that note, it is late on a Friday, so
it is.
I'm gonna say let's call it a day, and we'll see you next week. Ta-da.
Take care. Bye.